City of Adelaide Council meeting on Tuesday, 28 April 2026. The Lord Mayor is in the chair. This council meeting will be streamed live and recorded for publishing to the internet. Please note that an audio and visual recording is being taken of this meeting. This means that your presence at and any contribution you make to the meeting may be collected, used, disclosed or published publicly by the council, including transferring outside Australia.
Good evening. Council acknowledges that we are meeting on the traditional country of the Kaurna people and the Adelaide Plains and pays respects to elders past and present. We recognise and respect their cultural heritage, beliefs and relationship with the land. We acknowledge that they're of continuing importance to the Kaurna people living today, and we also extend that respect to other Aboriginal language groups and other First Nations people who may be with us this evening. The Council acknowledges the vision of Colonel William Light in determining the site for Adelaide and the design of the city with its 6 squares and surrounding belt of continuous parklands, which is recognised on the National Heritage List as one of the greatest examples of Australia's planning heritage. We pray for wisdom, courage, empathy, understanding and guidance in the decisions that we make, while seeking and respecting the opinions of others. May we in this meeting speak honestly, listen attentively, think clearly and decide wisely for the good governance of the City of Adelaide and the well-being of those we serve. I now ask all those present to stand in silence in memory of those who gave their lives in defence of their country, at sea, on land and in the air. Thank you. Please be seated. This evening we have apologies from Councillor Kabada. Could I ask someone to move the minutes? Deputy Lord Mayor moved, seconded by Councillor Snape. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Do we have any declarations of the conflicts of interest by Councillor Martin?
Yes, Lord Mayor. I will have a general conflict of interest in respect to item 15.2, which I wish to declare out of an abundance of caution. I have a relative who works in the homeless sector, which I've detailed on the form provided. It is a general conflict and I will remain in the room and participate in discussion.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Abrahimzadeh.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I also have a general conflict of interest there in relation to item 15.2. The report talks to a number of council-owned properties and my employer owns and or operates some property in close vicinity to those properties. So I will be cautious and I will actually vacate the chamber for the discussion and vote.
Thank you, Councillor. If there are no others, we'll move on to item 9, which is deputations. We did have a request for a deputation from Mr. John Schumann relating to a product that was the subject of an unsolicited bid on the basis that this proposal should go through the process for unsolicited bids and that would go to the Strategic Risk and Internal Audit Group. I did not want to bring the council into a position of either disrepute or conflict or undue errors in terms of our code of practice. So I refused that deputation. Thank you. If there's no other comment, I'll move on to item 10. We receive a petition, and could I ask that someone note receipt? Moved by Councillor Couros, seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? I was on the verge of, can I take the petition and then take your question? Yes. All those in favour? All those against? Do you have a question?
Yes, Lord Mayor, just seeking an explanation on behalf of the petitioners. At paragraphs 1 and 5.1 in the discussion, it's noted that a petition with 88 signatures has been reported. At paragraph 6, it states 60 valid signatures were included. Is that a typo, or were there so many errors?
I'm told there was a typo and an error. That will be corrected within the minutes.
Thank you.
Thank you. If there are no other questions on that item, we will move on to the next agenda item, which is part 11. This was the Audit and Risk Committee. Councillor Martin, moved by Councillor Martin, seconded by Councillor Marr. Any debate on that matter? No. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Can we move on now to item 12, which is the Finance and Governance Committee. We'll take this item as it's printed, and then the special meeting will come later in the agenda. So, Councillor Siebentritt moved all three together and seconded by Councillor Freeman. I think we will be taking it in parts if Councillor Siebentritt's happy to do that. Can I ask if someone seconded Councillor Siebentritt's motion? Councillor Martin seconded it. Do you wish to speak to it, Councillor Siebentritt, or do you want to reserve the right?
Reserve my right at the moment, Lord Mayor.
Councillor Freeman, you have an amendment.
Yes, Lord Mayor, thank you. I have an amendment reflecting the rate. This item, what number is this? Thank you. Recommendation 1 relating to the outdoor dining report.
Have you sent it to the... You have indeed, thank you. It's on the screen, and this is the clause that we discussed last week. Councillor Snape seconding. Councillor Freeman, please go on.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Since we discussed this at committee last week, it did seem that the narrative in the report about potentially expanding the lower pedestrian areas confused some members of the elected body about what this recommendation actually sought. So I wanted to make it clear by amending this recommendation tonight. At the moment, there are lower pedestrian areas defined in the City of Adelaide, which have a 14% discount from the rate in other parts of the city. These are few and far between, these areas. It's generally in the southwest part of the city, some parts of, most of North Adelaide, sorry, except for the main streets. And they're areas where we do see less foot traffic, and the AEDA data that was presented last week by the administration confirmed that. I think if we're introducing changes to the outdoor dining report to be more fair, this is a really important part of that. When we talked about the outdoor dining review, we acknowledged that there's parts of the city in these low foot traffic areas where there isn't any outdoor dining at all, and we need to incentivise that. Without this amended part, we're actually not doing anything to address that problem. So this simply adopts what the administration's recommendation was, to change that 14% discount to 50%. It was a very immaterial reduction in revenue. I think it was $20,000 or thereabouts for memory. And I think this is a good step in the right direction without complicating things by changing that definition of lower pedestrian area. Perhaps that can be subject to a future review with the next council term.
Your seconder wishes to speak? Councillors. Right reserved. Councillor Martin.
Yes, look, Lord Mayor, I rise to speak in support of the amendment. May I speak to the balance as well, or would you prefer I save that until later?
Technically, we should just finish this one first.
Certainly. Look, Lord Mayor, I appreciate the amendment that's being proposed. I have long puzzled at why it is that businesses in significantly busy parts of the city, for example, I mentioned at committee Peary Street, where there is a flow of hundreds of people per hour, should pay the same rate that people, say, in Melbourne Street or O'Connell Street outside Councillor Kouros's business, where there is a smaller flow of people. It is just a smaller catchment area. And therefore, it seemed to me inequitable that people are paying more than those who are getting greater benefit out of outdoor dining. So I thank the mover for this. I think this is sensible. It will be appreciated by those hospitality businesses paying those fees.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Kouros has the call. No? I'm sorry, I misunderstood your signing. Councillor Marr, but I think we're in furious agreement with this. We could probably not have too much debate on it.
Not quite. I will vote in favour of it, but I again reiterate my comments from last week from the committee. I'd like to caution us against overcomplicating the outdoor dining fee scheme. And I think you're right, we can just go on to the next part. I've got more to say on the balance of the motion.
Councillor Freeman, would you like to sum up?
Summed up.
All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Now we'll go to the, that becomes part of the motion. Well, can we scroll back to the motion? Or is this, oh, this is it. This is it now. So, Councillor Marr, did you wish to speak?
Yes, to the balance of the motion here, I think at 2.3, we are effectively rewarding the people who haven't done the right thing, rewarding the businesses who haven't done the right thing. The transition from fixed furniture to moved furniture has been council policy for about a decade, if I'm not incorrect. Many businesses will have taken that up and have moved to movable furniture, which is good. But we are now incentivising by reward those businesses who have not taken this up. I think an incentive is good, but I don't think it should be one that rewards people who have effectively done the wrong thing by not complying with that policy change for about 10 years. I think we should be doing it a different way. I'd love to take it in parts and not vote for 0.23. However, I don't think there's any appetite for that in the room. So I'm just voicing my concerns, and I hope this doesn't come back to bite us.
Look, Lord Mayor, I think there's a misunderstanding here of the council policy. From a very early stage of outdoor dining in this city, there was actually a preference for businesses to have fixed furniture, particularly in areas where there were a confluence of youth, alcohol, and sometimes poor behaviour. And so we went through a period in this council where we actually positively encouraged people to do it. There was, however, a realisation and indeed a lack of evidence to support previous arguments that furniture that wasn't fixed would become missiles. There was a deal of evidence to suggest that wasn't occurring. And moreover, there was an awareness, not only in this city but others, that movable furniture actually provided some benefit to the broader community by returning public realm to public realm when businesses were closed, particularly for extensive periods such as weekends or alternatively during holiday periods. Now, we have got to the position where there are 78 operators, including Councillor Kouros, who took up the invitation, no doubt, at a time when we were, as a city, encouraging people to do that. We are now saying to them, well, look, here is an incentive. Here is a reason to transition. And Lord Mayor, it is something that does require an incentive. I asked the administration to provide some figures that would assist me in putting this case. And it's quite astounding, really. The outdoor annual dining fee, the highest in the city, is $9,735 a year. The lowest is about $367. Now, if you have in mind an area of the size of the highest fee payer, it is probably, and I think I know who it is probably about a dozen tables, very large tables. And the cost of removing those tables, which would fall to the licence holder, the cost of restoring the public realm to what it was, and then replacing that furniture would be far in excess of $10,000. And indeed, in respect of the smallest licence payer, $400 wouldn't buy a table, let alone make good the damage that would be caused by removing fixed furniture. So this is a really sensible incentive in my view. But more particularly, and may I just have 30 seconds? I want to say that I think this council is doing a great deal of good, encouraging businesses, not only the fixed furniture transition business, which is covered in 2.3, but by cutting red tape, by introducing multi-year permits, by removing transfer permits, and additionally, and I think for me this is a really important thing, offering free outdoor dining to new businesses. Now, that's an attractor. You can understand if a business is contemplating coming to this city, and in the case of a substantial outdoor dining arrangement, they're going to be offered $10,000 less to come to the city for, that first year. That's an incentive. That's a really big incentive. This is a package that I think will be welcomed by business throughout the city in North Adelaide.
Councillor Couros.
Well, Mayor, I just want to say that Councillor Martin mentioned me twice in regards to outdoor dining. So as an abundance of caution, I'm declaring myself a conflict of interest, a general conflict in nature, just like rates. If you do pay rates, it's for the whole of the
We
city.
appreciate your situation, Councillor.
For the whole of the city.
Yes.
So if we're going to be talking rates, do we mention who are the people that pay rates as well? But I'll leave that to you, Lord Mayor.
Thank you. We appreciate your situation. Can I ask Councillor Siebentritt if you wish to sum up?
Summed up, Lord Mayor.
Oh, did you wish to speak? Sorry. I apologise. I assumed that you were just making a personal
No,
explanation.
I was just putting that in, Lord Mayor. So this is speaking to the whole of the motion. I think if we really want to look at really supporting the businesses out there, I think for this only really returning to the council about $600,000 per annum and being the core of what we want within our city to have a city that's activated and the city that is obviously welcoming to businesses wanting to open up in the city. Personally, I believe you should abolish this fee if you really want to send that message. But knowing that this is not the appetite of the council, I think businesses would take whatever they can in order to support what they can do, and what they do in this city is actually activate it. And that's what outdoor dining does. We should lead in this. We should be the enablers of this. We should encourage this, but knowing that anything that I would do in order to really drive that outcome would not be heard from this council. So I think, like every businesses out there, they just take what they can and just do what they can do.
Thank you. Councillor Siebentritt, do you wish to sum up?
I've summed up, Lord Mayor.
A point of order, Lord Mayor, regarding Councillor Couros' conflict. Are we sure this is not a material conflict?
Councillor, I don't think it's for me to decide, and we've been through this discussion before with Councillor Couros, and I think she
I can help out the councillor here, Lord Mayor. It has been found that I have no conflict. It's a general fees and charges for the whole of the city, and this affects the whole of the city, just like if you do pay
This
rates.
affects 78 businesses, and we're talking about a matter of about $20,000.
Councillor,
And it's just like you moving a motion regarding curbside and you're an Uber driver.
I wasn't going to get
It's the same thing.
$20,000 out of that. Thank you very much.
I think there's no point of order. This matter's been aerated before. Please, would you
So there
take your
is
seat?
no concern.
I'm asking you to
where-
take your seat, Councillor, and we're
Okay.
going to put this to the vote. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you. Division's been called?
Division?
Did you call a division? No. Division's been called. Was it unanimous? I didn't see.
Take the vote again.
Can I take the vote again because I missed it? All those in favour? All those against? It is unanimous. That's great. Thank you. We'll move on to the next item, which is which is recommendation 2, which is the draft business plan and budget.
They were all moved together, Lord Mayor.
Oh, they moved together. Oh, I'm sorry. I apologise. They were moved together.
Question, Lord Mayor. Is 7.2 still 7.2 as much as the detail
No,
has
it was
changed?
recommendation 2, and the governance tell me that we moved it all together. I apologise.
Okay.
Yeah, they moved them all on block.
Yeah, so recommendation 2 and 3 have been moved on block.
And this is only the provisional operating budget. Item 13, which is the infrastructure and public works, which is councillor
Excuse
Marr
me,
moving.
sorry, Lord Mayor, I'm actually quite confused. Did we move 7.2 and 7.3?
We did indeed, apparently, yes.
We asked for it to be taken in parts.
I must
It
say
was.
that I thought we were taking on block the first item with the amendment.
No.
If you're happy to recommit it, because I was a little confused. So I think it would be fair to go back to item 2, if you're happy for me to do
Happy to
that.
take it in parts, Lord Mayor.
Part 2, would you like to move it?
Happy to move that, Lord Mayor.
Moved, seconded by your seconder, councillor Marr. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. And part 3 now.
Have a division called here, Lord Mayor.
Division's been called on item 2.
Members' division has been called in relation to recommendation 2 of item 15. Please stand until your name has been called. Councillor Martin, Councillor Snape, Councillor Giles, Councillor Freeman, Councillor Marr, Councillor Sivendry and DLM. Thank you.
And now we're moving on to items, recommendation 3, part 3. Moved by councillor Sivendry, seconded by councillor Snape. All those in favour? Those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. We'll move on to the next item, which is the infrastructure. Councillor Marr, your turn now, please.
I'm happy to move both of these items on block.
On block, thank you, and seconded by councillor Snape. Any debate on
No
these?
debate.
No. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Now, 14 is, as this is the matter we've just debated in the special meeting. Councillor Sivendry, can I just make sure we've got the wording correct? We've got exclusive of new fees, which is 5.1, seconded by councillor Freeman. No?
A question, Lord Mayor. So the amended,
Can I just get a seconder first? Councillor Martin seconded. Now a question.
sorry, thank you. Just a question about the amended outdoor dining report that we just adopted. Presumably, part 2 of this recommendation would need to reflect that amendment. So
I don't quite hear, I'm sorry. That was the 21,000 amendment, do you mean?
So that was about the rate reduction for low pedestrian activity areas in terms of outdoor dining. So I'm wondering if part 2 needs to say exclusive of the new fees described in paragraph blah and inclusive of recommendation.
Can I just ask the CEO to clarify that?
Sure.
Through the presiding member, my understanding is the outdoor dining fees are those fees set by council in attachment A. So there'd be a minor amendment to 1 following the date, which would be inclusive of, bear with me, members,
Thank you for picking that.
inclusive of, no, one, comma, after the 6, inclusive of the discounted fee rate for businesses located in lower pedestrian areas.
Councillor Marr, you're happy with that? Well, maybe not happy with it, but are you agreed to have?
It's
Oh,
councillor.
no, I'm sorry, it was councillor Sivendry. Councillor Sivendry, are you happy with that? And your seconder?
Yes.
So that's a variation?
I am happy with it though.
Thank you. Is there any debate on this now? If not, do you wish to sum up? All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Now the next part is recommendation 2, which is the draft public consultation. Councillor Stephen-Tritt is moving. As printed?
Yes, provided, can I just confirm that this picks up on all the amendments that have been made at the CFG meeting that was just held?
Seconded by Councillor Martin. Can we just check the amendments to make sure we've got the wording?
That's right, Lord Mayor.
Yes, so we've got it moved and seconded, and we've got, do you wish to speak to it, Councillor?
I will, yes.
Do you want to speak now or wait for the question?
I'm happy to wait for the question, then I'll speak.
So Councillor Freeman after the movers and seconders, but Councillor Couros has a question.
Part A of this amendment, this Phil's budget, the council's budget, number A.
Can we scroll up to A, please? Or scroll down?
Can I ask details on, I don't understand what is asking there. I just would like some clarification. And how does that relate?
I think it's the text of the document.
Sorry?
I think it's asking to have a textual amendment to explain what's happening in Main Street.
So when this goes out to consultation, detailing, right, sorry, I understand that. And number C, I'm not happy with that wording. I'm happy to support it, but it does really sound like, and I'm sorry, CEO, I know you said that you have the understanding, but this is, doesn't read that way, and it really needs to be written very clearly that it's not going to cost the council $3 million. We're asking an extra 1.5 to match.
Gross budget is 3 million, less the grant.
We're going to ask our people to read these recommendations and read these motions. It doesn't read in that way. And
Can I just get a response from the CEO? The CEO just said to me the gross budget will be 3.8 million, or 3 million, subject to the possibility of a grant from the government, which I think is what Councillor Couros is saying. Which I think is not what some of us expected. Can we just go back to this? Because
go to the mover.
can I just clarify with the mover, have we misinterpreted? Thank you, Councillor Couros. If you could just sit down, we'll try and sort this out.
The CEO's understanding is correct. It is proposed that there be an allocation of $1.510 million to the School Safety Implementation Project, with a further increase of $1.51 million, subject to a matching contribution from the state government. That is to say, one is separate from the other, and the sum total of the two is $3,020,000.
So the sum, I'm sorry to be so slow-witted here, so the sum total is not 4.5? I'm sorry,
No, it's not.
It's not.
No, Lord Mayor, I can't see how that construction can be placed on that. I don't understand.
It's the repetition of the word increase that tripped me up.
That's what is the problem.
Well, Lord Mayor, can I ask you to ask Councillor Couros what would give her comfort?
Okay, Lord Mayor, if I read this, that we are going to further increase it to 1.50, subject to a matching contribution to be sought from the state government of the 1.50. So we're increasing it more. The way that I understand that's not the intent, but the wording doesn't reflect it in that way.
May I just say the CEO is trying to sort our confusion out. He suggests we change the word increase to allocation. And if we're happy with that, everybody will understand what it means. I'm so sorry, I've made it worse for everyone by keeping on asking the same question.
To get increase.
For remove increase, okay. Now we all know what we're voting for. Do you think are we happy with this now?
I'm happy with that,
Would
Mr.
you like to
Mover,
speak
Lord
to
Mayor.
it?
I'd love to speak to it.
Can we
Lord Mayor.
take it in parts, Lord Mayor?
If the mover's happy to, but the mover's going to speak first.
I'm happy. When we get to voting eventually, Lord Mayor, I'll be happy to take it in parts. Lord Mayor, I wanted to begin by thanking the administration for all the work that they put into getting us this draft budget, which is before us tonight. It's not lost on, I think, members around the chamber here that this has been a piece of work that doesn't happen in weeks. It commenced in December last year. Has involved significant work, including significant work on weekends and after hours. So I just wanted to begin by thanking the administration for the work that they have done. Lord Mayor, it's not lost on me the significance of what we've achieved as this budget here is going forward. And I draw members' attention to the focus we had when we first came into this chamber a number of years ago on the need to develop an asset renewal repair fund. Members will be aware that this is the final year. Is the final year of dollars going towards our asset renewal repair fund. It's something that we took on, it's something that needed to be done, it's something we committed to doing, and this is the final year of that asset renewal repair fund. And while it may not get all the media headlines, it is a significant achievement of this chamber and of the elected members who have been supporting these budgets. In addition to that, Lord Mayor, in addition to that, we're seeing a further 0.5% increase in our asset renewal funding ratio. Again, taking us back in the right direction, in the direction that we need to go to maintain the city's assets in the state and the condition that our ratepayers expect them to see. I also note, Lord Mayor, embedded within here is an allowance for 3.5% inflation, which I know our Audit and Risk Committee commented on recently and supported that, indicating that we're taking a prudent approach to how we've set up this budget. So, Lord Mayor, on many fronts, if we look at this at a broader level, there are a number of aspects that we've achieved here. But that's not all. We're obviously been cracking on with the business of running the council, and I know where, Lord Mayor, you are fond of pointing out that there are, I believe, no potholes, and maybe there was one recently and it got filled in, but there's a city that is very well maintained. In addition to being well maintained, we'll see in the budget that comes in the year ahead, we're committed to commencing work on the Flinders Street housing project. We do have main streets here, which I know other members will want to speak to. We have committed to delivering community buildings and parklands at Park 21 West and 27B, where there's an excavator on site now helping to kick off that work at 21 West. And who can forget the jewel in the crown that if you ask many architects around this country what is one of the most outstanding buildings in the country, and it's the Adelaide Central Markets, and we're very close to that now going ahead, being finished off with as part of this budget. So, Lord Mayor, there's a lot of work that's gone in. Thank you to administration, thank you to members. I know there'll be other points that members will wish to cover, but I thought it's important we recognise the significant progress, particularly in relation to asset renewal this council has taken on, and we've delivered on it.
Councillor Freeman.
Yes, Lord Mayor, I'd like to move an amendment, please. I'd like to add in an additional part, taking some existing investments
Do we have
out of the
it
budget.
here?
We're getting it ready, Lord Mayor.
Thank you. Can I ask if we have a seconder? Councillor Ma, seconds. Councillor Freeman.
Thank you. Look, we obviously just discussed this in committee, and I would like to reiterate what I was saying at committee by touching on what Councillor Siebentritt just said. We are in the final year of budget repair, and the administration have done a remarkable job in the last few years. And this budget is the final year of doing that until we didn't vote on this reduction. Effectively, what is before us, without my amendment, is $1 million of additional investment that has to come from the operating surplus and the capital borrowings as well. I'm not comfortable with this. I fully support, hand on heart, more greening, safer school initiatives, supporting small business, because they are the things that we've heard time and time again are really important right now. But I don't support being $1 million oversubscribed without seriously looking at the budget and what isn't a priority right now. So going back to West Palin Street, and I've got nothing against West Palin Street, I do have an issue with the $1 million that has been allocated to it. What I didn't speak about in committee was when this was approved by council in 2024 against the administration's recommendation to do so, that amount was $387,000 total for this project. Now we're looking at over $1 million. So there's a big discrepancy there. And again, it's $1 million that we are not putting towards community priorities like school safety, trees or other initiatives. What I've proposed in this amendment, because I understand we do want to get on with this pilot of undergrounding power lines, and in the budget papers that we workshopped in February, this amount allows design and construction, so I'm suggesting this allows the design to continue. But I do think that we should honour the council decision that was made in October 2024, which was $387,000. I've been very generous and added a 3.5% increase annually. I think this is fair. I think this is fiscally responsible. It helps us achieve our broader goal of budget repair while prioritising community priorities, and doesn't blow the bank. So really, I hope that clarifies things for members. I'm not trying to stop this. I'm trying to balance things. I'm trying to share. It's as simple as that. We get on with it with a sustainable amount, and I really encourage members to agree with that and support this amendment.
So thank you. Can I just seek some advice? I'm not sure what 3.5% means in terms of a street upgrade. Is it a bit done each year? What does it mean?
Through the presiding member, if I understand the intent of the amendment, it's to reduce a combined allocation of $1.095 million to $415,000.
Can you just explain what that actually means? Does it mean one pole or two poles? No poles?
Through the presiding member, that would not be enough to achieve the project that was contemplated.
Sorry, could I help clarify that? I'm not saying we delete one pole. I'm saying in the next financial year, we fund an amount of $415 to start with, to continue the progress, undertake the design, and then in the subsequent financial year, we revisit this and fill the gap in the funding. It's just about spreading the love.
Can I just seek advice, because I don't want to move something that's undoable. Can I have some advice?
Through the presiding member, Mr McCready, is this a project that could be staged over 2 financial years?
Through you, presiding member, thank you, CEO. It potentially could, if they were to run, say, Q4 of a financial year in the first quarter of the second, because they need to be concurrent. Effectively, the largest amount of works is the undergrounding into the buildings, into the properties, and as it sits at the minute, the amount that's being proposed will not be able to achieve any of that.
And can you just clarify the 3.5% CPI increase, what that would do?
It's simply...
oh, that's just added it onto the 387 to make
correct,
it full. I'm
correct.
sorry, I'm being slow-witted. Only 1 year. Okay. Is it a usable motion? Does it actually give you directions?
Through the presiding member, noting that the $1,095,000 includes both operating strategic project funding and capital funds of 635. How do we work the operating capital split?
Through you, presiding member, thank you, CEO. I think effectively, as I indicated, if you want a project which is seamless and reduces the cost, the only way that you could do that is to budget it and time it within 26-27 and 27-28 to fall within the last quarter and the first quarter, which would actually deliver the project. But the figures that have been proposed are the figures that have been provided to us by SAPN in regards to delivery of that infrastructure into the properties. So based on the budgets provided today, if that was solely the budget, we cannot deliver undergrounding in that street.
I'm not sure whether I should accept the motion then, because we're not actually doing anything legitimate, are we?
Lord Mayor, would it assist for the motion to specify that this is a stage, the first stage?
I'm still struggling because I'm not an engineer. I'm afraid I just want to make sure that we can get get the administration to do what you think they're doing.
Through the presiding member, while I understand the intent of the member in crafting the motion, the dollar figures don't work in this form. I think at a minimum, you would need to have the 635 capital allocation provided for, all right, and I'll take your lead, Mr McCready. It's 635 or the 460. It's one or the other, isn't it?
Through you, presiding member, thank you, CEO. Again, I won't reiterate what I've stated. The three poles that are there, effectively, to remove one, you need to work on the other two because they're all interconnected. So the reality is to underground, you can't just underground one pole, you actually need to do all to actually complete the street.
So I'm not prepared to take this on block with that amendment because I think that there will be subsequent changes to the dollar numbers and the borrowings and the operating numbers, and we will have to calculate that. I think that we should adjourn for 5 minutes while we can look at those numbers and find out what it means before we vote against this. So with this leave of the chamber, can I ask for a 5-minute adjournment? All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you. Can you just help me?
Tom. So the way it's structured in the budget,
It's complicated.
That's key, is that
down because
Members,
we need to sit down. I think the view from the administration is that this will not affect the dollar savings because of the capital expenditure, and I'm therefore inclined not to accept the motion. Councillor Freeman.
Well, yes, Lord Mayor, in the adjournment, speaking with the administration, I'm happy to withdraw this, appreciating that it does add more complexity and effort for the administration, which is counterintuitive to what I'm trying to achieve here, which is a sustainable budget that continues us on our path of budget repair. So, thank you.
Okay with that? Whoever the seconder was.
I am. I just want to clarify, this doesn't count as us having spoken to the substantive if it's withdrawn? Yep.
Through me to the CEO.
sorry, I didn't hear the question.
Could you repeat the question?
I'm getting nods from governance, so that's okay. Thank you.
Lord Mayor, are we taking the whole thing in parts again?
We're just going back to the format of the motion as on the screen without B. Can I just change the number of B, C, D? 'Cause there's an error now.
Back to B.
Can we return to B? I'm sorry, I just want to tidy this up. That's it. Thank you. Now I'll go back to the mover, who was Councillor Siebentrit. Now, who hasn't spoken yet? I've lost the thread.
Essentially everyone but Councillor Siebentrit.
Sorry?
So Councillor Siebentrit's the only person who's spoken to the substantive.
Councillor Siebentrit's the only person who's spoken. Your seconder? Who was the seconder? Councillor Martin. Do you wish to speak to? Reserve your right. Councillor Martin.
Understanding that we are not quite hitting the operating surplus we were planning to, and the administration have advised that this is workable, it's possible, it's not as good as it could be. I would support this on the whole, but I did want to make a comment that we've passed several motions in council this year in the last 3 months that have not exactly been clearly reflected in this budget process. I know I passed a motion regarding a live music circuit, a walkable circuit. I understand that it is funded, but that motion also included a report to be returned to council before this step of the budget approval process, and that report has not been provided. Now, I don't want to kick up a fuss about it because I've got the funding, I'm happy, but we are missing that report, and there are other motions which have not, to the strict letter of the motion, been delivered before we've reached this point. And I just wanted to sort of raise that as a cautionary point that this will go out to consultation now. Once it returns, there'll be people who are going to ask questions about, hey, I thought we'd passed that in a motion, where is it in the budget? And they won't be able to find it, even though it is in there. So I just want to raise that point so that I can follow it up later, and I don't want to hold this up today. I know at the meeting last week, the CEO said he would need to go back and have a look at those motions and take stock of what they would be. I would love to see that before we get the final approved budget after consultation. Thanks.
Thank you for your comments. Deputy Lord Mayor.
I just want to make sure that point D, the allocation of $307,000 for small business program is on top of what we've already sort of discussed, like that extra 700,000. So this is
my understanding is it is on top.
Should we add that into that? No, that doesn't need to be. Okay.
Deputy Lord Mayor, any other comments? No. Would you, Councillor Kouros?
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I support the allocation of the green program, understanding what our administration said, that we've got funds to forward for that. I support the school safety program now that it's worded properly. It was very hard to get that right in the committee meeting. I would have liked to have seen more of an allocation to our economic activity within our city, which goes through AIDA. I think it's coming to very difficult times for our city, and I think our focus has not been there. I understand that this council dominating what they want and in their budget, but it just feels as if there is no point in me in trying to amend it to where I think the city vision should be. But in saying that, Lord Mayor, the most important thing that I've discussed in this budget, knowing that I don't have the numbers to get things that I want, is that for me, there's a duplication across the portfolios. For me, there is more efficiencies that we should have looked at. We need to work harder in ensuring that we're delivering the best for our ratepayers. And I don't feel that this budget does. I feel that we haven't looked at that closely enough. We always looked at what I want from the budget, what I like to see from the budget. But for me, as an elected member, I like to turn around and say how I've worked hard for people that do contribute to this budget, which are mainly the ratepayers in the city and North Adelaide, in what their rates are working, that we're working harder to ensure that this organisation is working in an efficient manner. Like I said, I feel there is a duplication and a lot of that. I feel that our capital programs could be optionally staged. But in saying that, I also I've been hearing for the last 4 weeks, a budget repair. Now, when this council started, this council was very fortunate to work with a budget that had no debt. They were also very fortunate to work with a budget that had a modest surplus. And they were also very fortunate that this budget, this council inherited a budget that worked through COVID times. It was difficult, and yet we still managed to be able to achieve what we could achieve at that time. Sure, renewals weren't at their optimum level during that time. Sure, we could have spent more in that area, but we couldn't because we were in COVID and we were in lockdown. And the fruits of all that is all showing very clearly now, because we're able to spend all that money that we capped on during that time. And regarding the Adelaide Central Market Arcade, yes, thank you. That was a great initiative that we did last term of council, which we have done great work with Adelaide O'Connell last term of council, but I can't compare that because like the
Point of order, Lord Mayor. This is about the budget that's in front of us, not a political speech about the benefits of a Team Adelaide, Team Adelaide Council previously.
But like the Lord Mayor has said, you can't look at the past, you can only look at the future. You can't look at what other councils have done in the past, you can only look what the future holds. And I'm really, in this, what I'm looking at, I would like to see more efficiencies and less duplication across each portfolio.
Councillor Martin.
Yes, look, just for the sake of the record, Lord Mayor, the Adelaide Central Market was an initiative of the council before the last one. I was here for that.
For clarification.
As indeed was 88 O'Connell.
Just a moment, Councillor Martin.
Clarification.
Just a moment, Councillor Martin.
Clarification.
So this is a point of order, Councillor.
Point of order. I didn't say it was our initiative. I said it was us that brought it forward.
Thank you very much.
We signed on the dotted line last term of council.
I don't think anyone was trying to attack you, Councillor.
No, I was just correcting the record, Lord Mayor. They were indeed busy times, 2014-18. Look, I do take issue with the context of this. I mean, I think it devalues the work of this council to suggest that it inherited a circumstance where the books were in a great shape. They were not. There were accumulated operating deficits of $50 million. We had a SCOSA
yes,
weeping.
I know, Councillor. Let's
weeping
move on.
They were, Lord Mayor, weeping, looking at our books. These days, they look at our books and they are delighted. In fact, I'm surprised that the CEO hasn't received a congratulatory letter from the SCOSA.
Clarification, Lord Mayor, point of order.
Just a moment, Councillor Martin.
Point of order. If we're going to rehash, if it wasn't for a SCOSA intervening, God knows where it would be. So it was a SCOSA.
This is not a point of order, Lord Mayor. This is just commentary.
I think the comment that you were seeking was in one of the other reports, but not in this one, from the Audit and Risk.
Lord Mayor, look, I don't want to extend this discussion longer than it needs to go. I endorse the commentary of Councillor Siebentritt. I think he provided a valuable context for us. This is a great achievement. It comes at the end of a term which has seen the organisation restored to financial health. And tonight I'm delighted to say, emphasising those projects on which we can hang our hats. Greening programs, Main Street upgrades rather, school safety programs, and stimulating small business. What a way to go out. I think that's a sensational performance, and I congratulate the administration for all they've done to assist this council to get to this point.
Thank you. Would you, Deputy Lord Mayor, and then we might sum up.
I just want to add to Councillor Siebentritt and Councillor Martin's sum up. I just want to remind members that we had outcomes of 2 independent financial bodies audit on this council. And I've just got a little blurb from each. From the Local Government Finance Authority, all financial measures considered by the LGFA for the City of Adelaide were acceptable ranges, and the trend for the 3 key indicators, adjusted operating surplus ratio, adjusted net financial liabilities ratio, and asset renewal funding ratios are all positive. ESCOSA stated that the path taken during this term of council should secure City of Adelaide's long-term financial sustainability. It notes the context of the financial position inherited by the current council and endorses measures taken to achieve budget repair. These were 2 independent financial bodies that are highly regarded in this sector. I think it says it all.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I'll be very brief, just to address some of the historical revisioning that's been going on in this chamber. I thank this chamber, this council, and our magnificent administration for all the work that's gone on in this budget and previous budgets. It was dire times, Lord Mayor, dire times in the previous term. As been mentioned, operational budget in completely upended, staff cuts across the board, and quite frankly, in my personal opinion, a barely functioning council. We are now steaming ahead with some amazing projects. We've got the greening, we've got the main streets on the way. We've got we have turned this city around, and it's thanks to this council, this chamber, and this administration. So thank you.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Just to echo what Councillor Marr was saying about how we communicate this budget to the public, I think it's very complicated, obviously, as we've discussed tonight. The budget is in excess of 100 pages, and frankly, I'm sure our community will give us a pat on the back for being very good at repairing the budget, but they probably want to know more about what this means for them. Last week at committee, we had an undertaking to understand what consultation material would accompany the budget, which now has been tabled tonight. So I would like to add on to that undertaking that if we can have that consultation material come to council so that we can guide how it's communicated, and it may not be in time for the consultation proposed in this paper. Maybe retrospectively there's some comms, fact sheets, QAs, whatever, that end up on our website or similar, because it's a lot to navigate through. We do have very clear community priorities, and if we can make that jump out of the page through other comms, I think that's really important.
Thanks. We might move to summing up now. Councillor Seaman, summed up. Are we taking it in parts?
Prefer to take it on block, Lord Mayor.
On block? Everyone's happy? All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. A division's been called.
Members' division has been called. Please stand in favour of the motion until your name has been called. Councillor Martin, Councillor Snape, Councillor Giles, Councillor Freeman, Councillor Marr, Councillor Siebentritt, Deputy Lord Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you, members. I'll move on now to the next item.
15.1.
And 15.1, I'm going to call for nominations for the AIDA, board?
Board selection panel.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Martin.
No, I decline, Lord Mayor, but I would like to nominate Councillor Freeman.
Sure, happy to accept, thank you.
I would like to nominate Councillor Stephen-Tritt. Stephen-Tritt.
Councillor Stephen-Tritt, are you happy to accept?
Happy.
Yes? Any other? Councillor Giles?
I'll nominate Councillor Noon. Oh, sorry, Deputy Lord Mayor.
Councillor Noon will accept. We have 3 nominations.
I'd like to nominate Councillor Marr just for the sake of it.
Nominated Councillor Marr, do you accept?
Oh, I think we're going to a vote anyway. Yes, sure. Thank you.
Councillor Marr accept. Goodness me. We have 4 nominations. We'll have to have a ballot.
Lord Mayor, I'm happy to withdraw my nomination. I think 4 is a bit excessive.
Councillor Freeman has withdrawn. Thank you. We're down to 3, Councillor Stephen-Tritt, Noon and Marr. So that we are doing something while we're waiting. Would you be happy with that? Seek leave? All those in favour? Thank you. I'll just move to speak on item 16, which is my report, and say that the last 2 weeks have been a busy period with the launch of the History Festival and activity from historians, volunteers and storytellers telling tales of our city. The Town Hall will have several events, including a French language tour, which you may wish to join. The other events this week, the last week, were the Equestrian Festival, which included the Oceania Championships. And we hosted a reception at the Town Hall, and many of you met the Olympians who joined the event. Continuing with activities across the city, Messina and Shadow Baking opened at 88 O'Connell, and I recommend both of those retail outlets, although I would suggest you should be rather careful how much you consume because the food is quite delicious. I also attended sod turnings in Franklin Tower and Veriu Apartments, and there was an air of confidence in the city of Adelaide and opportunity from the developers. As well as those events, there were, of course, Anzac Day events, and I should thank Councillor Freeman and the Deputy Lord Mayor for sharing the workload on that busy day. I put a wreath on the memorial and attended the horse trough event for the Gallipoli light horse. I also attended the North Adelaide Primary School, and those 2 events were somewhat linked. You might find that extraordinary to understand, but many of you have walked past the Reginald Roy Inwood Victoria Cross, and you may not have bothered to look at the winner's history, but he was born in North Adelaide, attended the North Adelaide Model School as a student before going to Broken Hill, where he worked in the mine and then joined during the war, at the start of the First World War, the 10th Battalion. He actually went to Gallipoli and was in Anzac Cove, survived, was wounded out to Egypt, and then went to the Somme, where he won his Victoria Cross. It was interesting that those two events were linked. I recommend the display that's just outside the Colonel Light Room, which talks about his citation and speaks more of those events. While I was at North Adelaide Primary School, it was interesting to realise that we so often speak of the future of our city, but we very rarely enter classrooms and speak to children. So it was interesting to speak to them about how council operated and what was of interest for them. A show of hands told me that more than half of them had been on the free bus. Far more than half of them had been to our public libraries, and they loved the parkland. So it was an interesting experience for me as well. So could I ask someone move my report? Councillor Marr moved, seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? Thank you, that's noted. Now we'll go back to the result.
Through the presiding member, the vote needs to be taken again. There were some invalid votes where members had marked a vote for a member who wasn't nominated. Can I reinforce the fact that the three nominees are Councillor Stevens-Stritt, Councillor Noon, Councillor Martin, so please don't vote for anybody other than those three.
I thought it was Councillor Marr, not Martin. Councillor Marr.
Mark. Yeah.
Okie dokie. Oh dear.
That might be the confusion. Sorry. I'm over it. I've lost it.
When we have collected the ballots, I will ask with your leave that we should go to item 17, reports from council members, so that we can be moving through the agenda with purpose. Thank you. Have we got all the ballots? Okay.
As the Lord Mayor said, it was a busy day on Anzac Day. I represented the Lord Mayor at the Anzac Day March with Her Excellency the Governor, and then we went on to Pennington Gardens for a service at the Cross of Sacrifice. It was an amazing day. It was beautiful weather. I think there was an expectation of 1,000 people marching, and it was around the 3,000 mark. So it was quite amazing, quite emotional actually. And then on the next day, because this can't be held on Anzac Day, was the commemoration of the Battle of the Coral Sea at the Botanic Gardens, where I laid a wreath along with Minister Picton, who represented the state government, and Minister Steve Georgianis, who represented the Feds. It included a Prime Minister and US presidential address, and it really emphasised how important the relationship between Australia and the US is, and it's bigger than the leaders of the day. So it was quite an amazing weekend for me.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Any other comments? No? Councillor Marr?
Yes, I was represented the Lord Mayor at the Adelaide Turf Cricket Association Women's Awards for the year, so I would congratulate all of the awardees. There were a couple of dozen of them, so I won't list them off. And also regarding Anzac Day, I want to call a little bit of attention to the number 24 Squadron City of Adelaide, which was reformed post-World War II and granted the use of our city's name on 7th of May 1951, which is 75 years ago this fortnight. It will be before the next council meeting, so I want to insert that into the minutes, and also note that 24 Squadron does have freedom of entry to our city, last exercised on the 70th anniversary, and I would think it would be wonderful to see that again on the 75th if we can arrange it.
Councillor Kouros, were you rising to? No?
Just didn't understand what Councillor Marr just said at the end, sorry. It wasn't clear to me. And I was just asking Councillor Giles, sorry.
Fine, so we've caught up with that. Be received and there's as printed as well. Moved by Councillor Marr, seconded by Councillor Stephen. All those in favour? Those against, that's carried. Thank you, members. So we'll go back to the vote. Have we a result? No, we haven't. So can I ask if members would be happy if we went on to 15?
No, we're there, Lord Mayor.
We're there? Okay. We go back to 15.1, the ballot.
Through the presiding member, based on a majority of votes, I declare Councillor Stephen Stritt as the member to be appointed to the Adelaide Economic Development Agency Board Selection Panel.
So do we insert his name and move this now? No? The ballot's been declared in favour of Councillor Stephen Stritt. Thank you very much. So we'll go on to 15.2, which is a report for noting, and Councillor Abrahimzadeh is removing his chair.
I will just declare that general conflict. I've got the form here, and I'll remove myself from the chamber.
Thank you. Councillor Martin.
Yes, Lord Mayor, I also remind the meeting I declared a general conflict. I do not believe that it in any way prevents me from participating in this matter. However, it is declared out of an abundance of caution. And, Lord Mayor, I wish to move an alternative motion.
Do you understand? Deputy Lord Mayor?
Yes, thank you, Lord Mayor. Look, this is, and I note the motion is titled "Support for People Sleeping Rough During Extreme Weather, Code Red and Code Blue." It is, in fact, a proposal for a trial for people sleeping rough during extreme weather in Code Blue. That is for June, July and August of this year only, as determined in the motion of Council on March 10th, 2026. And Lord Mayor, I begin by reminding everyone that homelessness here in South Australia and indeed throughout Australia is at a crisis point. I understand that everyone is aware of the extent of the problem. It is evident in our streets. People are sleeping rough in shop doorways, under awnings, in churches, behind churches, in parklands, in cars. It is frankly worse than I have ever seen it. And I thank the Deputy Lord Mayor for sending to me and to others the report from the Advertiser of Saturday, April 18th, which records a particular facet of homelessness and rough sleeping, that is the extent to which young people and women are searching for accommodation and in particular crises, but unable to find anywhere suitable. This problem is replicated in Tasmania. There was a report, Lord Mayor, published just yesterday from Anglicare, talking about the extent to which people are now pitching tents all over the northern and northwest part of the state, again simply because this cohort of young people and women are just unable to find suitable crisis accommodation during extreme weather such as Code Blues, for which the city may have 3, 4, 5, who knows, in the coming winter. Lord Mayor, in the city of Adelaide, there are some 70 to 100 beds available in one location only, and to which homeless rough sleepers do flock, but only some of them. For a great number of people, women particularly, there is no attraction in going to a place that accommodates men, women and children. They simply don't want to be there. They find that unacceptable, despite their circumstances, which are, to all intents and purposes, hopeless. Lord Mayor, the administration, may I have...
Leave has been sought. I'm just struggling to work out if this is acceptable as a motion without notice, because it bears a cost. 300,000 has been suggested in the report.
No, Lord Mayor, that's not what the motion says.
I'm just trying to remember what the March the 10th resolution was that we're attempting to meet. Can somebody help me? Could you give me a moment, Councillor?
Yes, certainly.
We'll give you some more time. Councillor, could Mr Harides explain what we're actually voting for?
Well, I think let's start with our understanding of the intent of what's been moved, and we can check that with the mover.
Mr Harides? I'm sorry,
Okay.
Councillor.
Thank you, and through the chair, to clarify the Lord Mayor's question, and in keeping with the CEO's outline, we're taking the interpretation of this to be that the 10th of March motion was clear about being a report to council, which was brought to the last council on the 14th of April. That particular motion then sought us to meet with a group and bring further information by the end of April. The next appropriate and only opportunity for council is this particular meeting, and it's the report before you. I'm interpreting the motion to mean, but clarification from the mover, to now revisit the terms of the 10th of March motion, which was a report to outline an approach to provide Code Blue and Code Red supports, with the addition of the conditions of what is written within this particular motion of the option being progressed by ICAG to be incorporated into the scope of what the 10th of March motion was. But happy to take lead from the mover. That's...
Can I just ask a question from the chair? I'm a little confused about why people are recruiting staff to be used in our building if we haven't actually determined to do it. That's what I'm a little concerned about.
Thank you for the question, and through the chair, that hasn't occurred. The report this evening, if I'm interpreting your question correctly, was simply talking about how the intent of the motion could be met. Nothing has been actioned.
Councillor Martin, do we need to
I think there's a further question.
Another question that we need to ask?
Through the presiding member, the next scheduled council meeting is on the 12th of May. That's 2 weeks from today. Is there time to meet with the ICHAG Executive Officer and then prepare a report for the 12th of May?
Thank you, and through the chair, I can only reflect on the last effort. That one, I can't confirm that at this meeting. Two, it took us some time to get that, and then analyse that data and prepare the report in the fortnight, and the shorter lead time we have to obviously submit reports for publication. So it would be difficult to commit to that time frame without some further information at hand.
So,
By the end of May?
but where does it have the date anyway? Next council meet by the... Back to council before the end of May? Councillor Martin?
Lord Mayor, I am surprised that there is such difficulty, since the meeting that was arranged and the report that was prepared for tonight occurred within that same 2-week time frame. I can't see the problem, and moreover, Lord Mayor, the administration has an email which I circulated to councillors today offering to meet with the administration as soon as possible to further advance discussions. This motion is to have a discussion, not to expend any money. It is to have a discussion, and if it helps, I'm happy to incorporate the email the administration received into the motion or the minutes, but the proposal is quite simply, it is not about code red and code blue, as the papers say, and as the administration says. The reference to March 10 is to make everyone understand this is, or to help everyone to understand, this is about a trial period of code blue rough sleeping arrangements for June, July and August. That's all it has ever been. The last occasion resulted in a discussion with the administration. Today, ICAG has responded saying, look, we want to keep talking. We've actually begun the process of recruiting to staff a facility. A facility has not been identified in the report, and I was preparing to report to speak to that report when I was stopped. So,
I'm sorry to be debating from the chair, but I'm just concerned that there's an implication in the motion that we have agreed to use City of Adelaide property.
No, we have not, Lord Mayor. We have not. The administration has prepared a report for tonight's meeting considering a range of options and expressing the view that they are all difficult or expensive. This motion simply asks that we meet the request of ICAG to have a further discussion, either with the full group or with a smaller group, and it acknowledges that they have already committed to the cost of recruiting staff and have begun a process. Now, Lord Mayor, I'm not asking for anything more than more discussions. It's certainly not about committing money or council venues.
I just don't want it to be misconstrued, because what we're doing is proposed code blue accommodation for rough sleepers in the city, and then if you took out of Adelaide property, it would be more open-ended.
Well, the original motion of March 10 and the paper of tonight, Lord Mayor, directly deals with that concept of a City of Adelaide property. That was the genesis of the March 10 motion. The March 10 motion proposed that we enter into discussions with homeless organisations with the intention of seeing whether it was possible to utilise an otherwise unutilised City of Adelaide property for the purposes of providing shelter for rough sleepers during declared code blues, and these, you would understand, Lord Mayor, are issued by the state government. They are Tier 2 and Tier 1. The most serious of those involves a warning for organisations to provide whatever assistance they can to rough sleepers. This is consistent with that. Nothing has changed.
I'm sorry, I don't wish to debate from the chair. It's just that I'm concerned that this is not specific enough, and we have not made a decision, and we haven't got any funding for this. So I would be happy to accept it for rough sleepers in the City of Adelaide, but not designate the property, because I don't know that we can do that.
Well, Lord Mayor, that then changes not only the nature of the report before the council, it changes the motion. And so then, if it is your decision that we don't discuss the use of a City of Adelaide property, then we bring nothing to the table with ICAG, and there's no point in speaking to them.
Well, they are going to talk to us, and they've already employed the staff, which
No,
seems...
I didn't say that. The motion says, and so does the email, that they have begun, let me precisely...
Point of order, Lord Mayor.
The process of recruiting staff.
Point of order. I just want to clarify, I'm supportive of what Councillor Martin's doing, but is this possible that it's an undertaking from administration at this point? And then perhaps Councillor Martin fleshes something out a bit more substantial.
Can we just work out what
to bring to the table?
Books? Can you just give me a moment, Councillor?
Certainly, Lord Mayor. Look, if it helps, I did send you the email earlier this afternoon from ICAG.
I'm sorry, I've been in meetings and haven't read...
That's all right.
Through the presiding member, I've now got visibility of the email referred to by Councillor Martin from Stephen Spence, the Executive Officer. It's an update. It acknowledges the last meeting that occurred, which was the meeting that auspiced the report to Council this evening. They're reaching out, but there's no commitment to a date. I'm just uncomfortable committing to bringing a report back without being able to secure a meeting.
Well, it seems to me that they are talking to us, and we talk to these people all the time, so surely it's not that difficult to have a meeting. And if they're recruiting people to work in our buildings, it does seem rather presumptuous for them. They must be waiting.
No, Lord Mayor, with respect, that was the nature of the discussion that occurred between the administration and ICAG. The original motion, and I'm sure my colleagues remember, was about engaging ICAG in order, or at least homeless groups in order, to see what resources and wraparound services they could bring to this. The subsequent meeting of council, which considered the request that they meet with ICAG, nominated that organisation. That meeting occurred. The administration has come back with a report that says it's really very hard without refusing any particular venue. Subsequently, ICAG has come back and said, please keep talking to us. Further to our discussion, we have begun the process to recruit the staff which could staff this facility. It all seems to be rolling along.
I know it's rolling along and we have no control over it, and it's cost shifting from the state government. That's my concern. That's why I'm anxious not to lock us into a decision of council on the basis of a motion without notice.
Well, Lord Mayor, there's no, and I don't wish to debate with you, but
I'm sorry, we are debating. We shouldn't be.
There is no cost to council at this point. There is a proposal to discuss it and to bring it back to council. There is nothing in here that authorises the expenditure of any funds by any officer of council, save for the bus fare to go and meet ICAG.
I'd like to be assured of that.
Well, I'm happy to put the money for the bus fare on the table if that provides some comfort.
I'll get the CEO, because I'm anxious that the wording is inappropriate. Can you tell me if there's any commitment for money in this?
Without progressing the meeting with the group, we don't have a clear understanding of what they have begun at their cost, and there's no information regarding that in the report to council tonight. This could be simplified by deleting the first 3.5 lines that council requests so just strike out until you get to City of Adelaide property. That council requests the administration take up, and we'll put the group's name in, invitation to attend a meeting of the organisation with a view to
reporting back to council.
Yeah.
Would you, so I will accept that motion because it's open-ended and the council administration can deal with it.
Well, that is fine, Lord Mayor, so long as we reference the intent of the motion of March 10th, because that is the entire raison d'etre for discussing anything with anyone.
I'm sorry it's been so tortuous, but I think I'll accept that. Can you put March, reflecting the report of March the 10th?
Do you want it? What's the resolution? Assist the council in ensuring that no rough sleeper, that's no children will live in poverty.
Yes, so our report was to assist the council in ensuring that no rough sleeper in the city of Adelaide seeking safety from extreme weather will be denied shelter in the winter of 2026. So that's a good motion, so, okay. I'm sorry it's taken so long. You have a seconder, Councillor, the DLM. Sorry, Councillor, would you like to get your next 3 minutes? We've been debating it quite extensively.
Well, look, I think I've debated it as much as I need to, Lord Mayor. I would just simply ask that we add to that the CEO's suggestion that the administration reports back to council by the end of May. That would be a really satisfactory outcome, although it would mean nothing could be done for the first month of winter. Perhaps the last month or the second month we might be able to do something.
Thank you, Councillor. So I apologise for the time it's taken to get there. So finish the
I was just asking if we could add those words, reporting back to council at the end or by the end of May or whatever the time frame the CEO said. By end of May, that's fine. Then I'm happy with that, Lord Mayor.
Look, I recall very clearly the discussion on the 10th of March, and I actually recall Councillor Couros really emphasising how much we've talked about this over the years, and it just goes from one council to another, and we don't ever seem to do anything about it. So I commend Councillor Martin for putting this forward, because this is a doing, this is a verb motion, this is a doing motion. So I think, yes, we can say it's cost shifting and we can actually just say it's the state government, and yes, that's correct. But we play a part in this, and if we can help out and step up and show the state government that we are doing something about this, and we hope that they follow. And I do think that if we've got venues that we can actually look at to assist in this situation, because we all go home to lovely warm beds every night, and I know that there's so many people on the street that are turned away. That's what I hear all the time. So I think that if these agencies get together, and I think the responsibility is, with those wraparound services are these agencies, and if we can all work together and come up with some sort of interim solution for these poor people that are in these dreadful situations when the winter is just about on us. And so I commend Councillor Martin for putting this forward, and I think that we've just got to keep pursuing this, keep finding solutions, keep at the table and ensure that we're progressing in this area.
I can sense the sentiment in the room. Councillor Snape, I think we're going to let this vote go through.
Thank you, Lord Mayor, and thank you, Deputy Lord Mayor, as well. And I also commend Councillor Martin for his compassion and humanity in pursuing this outcome, and hopefully this does lead somewhere where, on the rarest of days, at the most extreme of our weather, perhaps we can find a facility to assist those who are doing it most tough here in our city, be it the bus station, be it car parks, be it a community centre. I don't suspect anyone's thinking about opening up your office, Lord Mayor, at this point, but I think there are facilities available that won't be in use, in the evenings, at night times, on our coldest days, and it does sound like a lot of these other groups are willing to take up the slack in those situations. And my understanding of the intention of the broader initiative, even though of course no costs are being committed at this point, is that council itself will just be providing the building, opening that door, and letting other qualified professionals, workers, aid workers, and the like use that facility. So I think it is a good initiative. It's a compassionate initiative, and we are a level of government. I completely agree with the Lord Mayor's point, actually, about cost shifting. I do, and but the council needs to step up where the state government and others have not been able to assist. And, we are only a good a society as those who treat our most vulnerable, that old adage. So I commend Councillor Martin and hope that fellow members will support this motion.
Councillor Martin, would you like to sum up? Councillor Martin, the next motion on notice.
Lord Mayor, I'll withdraw that.
Can we just find Councillor Abrahimzadeh? No, he hasn't gone. His briefcase is there.
I think he had to take a call.
Sorry?
I think he had to take a call.
Did he? Sorry?
Oh, conflict. Oh.
Have we found?
Oh, yes.
Thank you. Councillor Martin, would you like to move your motion as printed? Withdrawn, thank you. We'll move on to 18.2. Councillor Stephen-Tritt.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. Noting the hour's late, I'll speak to this briefly. So, Lord Mayor, we know that action on climate change has been important for this council. That takes many forms. Some of it includes greening, some of it includes EVs. I can see governance is...
Do we have a seconder?
We're looking for a seconder.
Councillor Martin.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, Councillor Martin. So we know that greening is important in the city as well as EVs. One of the things we've observed, Lord Mayor, over our time in council is that there are significant budget pressures that are applied to the works that we're trying to achieve, good works in relation to how we combat climate change. Another thing we've observed is that there are clearly design specifications that we go out to tender for. They are tried and tested, but there are not always opportunities for innovation in those designs. Now, innovation in the designs is important because it can lead us to get greater outcomes for the investment that we make. I know that, for example, there's been strong interest from some council members around the cost of tree planting in our streets, with some costs exceeding $20,000. I suggest that a way to start to tackle whether it's more, I suppose, innovative tree planting or looking at how EV chargers are put in place is to encourage this design prize. The idea of this would be a way to bring forward innovative designs that we may not see through our traditional procurement processes. It may also, depending on how it's implemented, provide an opportunity to engage with the Brains Trust down the road here at Adelaide University as well as at Flinders University and seek their ideas on how to go about delivering this in a different way. Ultimately, while there is a dollar figure attached to this, I see this as a way for us to get better outcomes for the dollars we're going to invest in our climate change measures, whether it's greening, Lord Mayor, or EV charging, and I encourage the Chamber to support it.
Just a question, Lord Mayor, because I support this in principle for sure, but is there a risk? A lot of the initiatives being mentioned are already under council purview. Is there a risk that we're effectively going to be awarding design awards to ourselves as a council, or I seek clarity?
I don't think we'd let Mr. Haridis win this. As a matter of probity, I draw your attention to paragraph 9. A report will come back explaining how this will be governed, what the governance methodology and implementation would be. So presumably there'll be a couple of steps before we actually do anything. And I think Mr. McCready won't win either. Sorry?
Through you, presiding member, that's indeed correct. There will be information coming back to council because not you, we would like to test it with council in regards to the criteria that we are actually applying and how we're actually engaging with the market.
Councillor Marr.
Just a quick question. Will this be reflected in the budget that goes out for consultation, or is it going to be a bit late for that to be included?
I think it's $40,000. And I think that will be reflected in some way.
Through that, presiding member, if council supports this motion, we will include a $40,000 allocation in the draft budget.
Would that come out of a portion of that will be operating? Where does the $15,000 come from?
Through the presiding member, all $40,000 would be operating.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Abrahimzadeh.
Just a quick question, Lord Mayor. Do we have a rough time frame for when that report is coming back to council? I'm mindful that we'll enter in caretaker mode later this year.
Can I have advice?
Through the presiding member, it'll be well before caretaker.
And I'll put that motion, could you happy to sum up, not to sum up? All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you, members. Councillor Noon, you are withdrawing? Withdrawing? Deferring to. Thank you. So the motions without notice, Councillor Freeman.
Thank you, Lord Mayor. I would like to move a motion without notice, which I've provided to the administration.
Can you just...
We just need a moment.
Oh, you seconded, Councillor Marmon? Yep. It's a motion without notice that's being sent through.
We just need a second to put it on the screen.
Here we are.
Okay, thank you, Councillor Marr, for seconding this motion. You councillors thought you were going to have a whole meeting with no cycling discussion. Well, here we are. I've brought this to council because 2 weeks ago we approved a pop-up cycling trial happening. We almost had unanimous support for that. And since that's been announced to the public, I've had a lot of comments about, well, hang on, when is it happening? You've said a report's coming back in September. There's no date stipulated before that. So the motion that was passed did say we will look at savings in our current 2025-26 budget to implement rapid low-cost initiatives. And I think what I missed from the motion 2 weeks ago was saying when those rapid low-cost initiatives using those budget savings should be implemented. A week after that, at the Infrastructure and Public Works Committee, we had a presentation of the Capital Works monthly report, and there was a budget surplus over $50 million presented, which you can imagine I was very excited to see in the context of this trial, considering those savings are what I'm using to implement this. So what I'm proposing here is to use those savings to implement by the end of financial year at least one pop-up bikeway, one in a north-south direction, one in an east-west direction, on select routes, as identified by the integrated transport strategy, and then monitoring and evaluation of those trials to be included in the reporting back to council in September, which was the point. A trial is supposed to happen quickly. It's easily removed, easily adapted. It is something we can do now. The report coming back in September without an evaluation of that trial really isn't very helpful to us. We do need to do something now because there's a fuel crisis now that's painless, so we actually can talk about it usefully in September. I understand there's concerns about pop-up infrastructure, so I would just like to address some pop-up infrastructure I've noticed in the last week. As I came into work this week, some may have noticed that Tasting Australia have closed the right turn lane at Victoria Square as part of their bump-in event. Before I got there, Gooja Street, a whole lane has been closed for over a year.
Sorry, I hate to interrupt you. We can't accept paragraph 2 because that's not a technical phrase that we use. It might be used in state government, but we don't technically have a budget surplus.
I'm happy to take advice to reflect the...
I understand our capital is a borrowing, and if we don't spend, we don't borrow. So it's... can you just excuse me? Can we just sort out paragraph 2 because it's not kosher?
Through the presiding member, and I hesitate to enter debate, one refers to a resolution of council 2 weeks ago.
Mm-hmm.
Council made a resolution 2 weeks ago. I think it's unreasonable to expect that we would be implementing pop-up cycling trials within 2 weeks of council resolving that way. Number 2, I have no understanding of the capital budget surplus in excess of 50 million that's being referred to.
CEO, to clarify, I'm not asking for implementation within 2 weeks. I'm asking for implementation by 30 June, no later than that.
Right.
In terms of part 2, I was referring to the Capital Works monthly report that was presented last week.
It's an underspend, but it's not a surplus.
It's not a surplus.
Happy to change the
So we
wording
just,
to reflect
I think
what
we
was
just need to
presented.
take that out, don't we? Because it's technically incorrect.
We can take it out. I'm happy to do that.
Yeah.
Can we take out number 2?
Yeah.
Take out number 2, thank you. I just want to make it technically correct. I thought you had agreed to 3.
Well, it's
The budget savings.
it's a motion to direct the administration.
Okay, all right. Sorry, I think, have we made a landing on this? Is it technically acceptable? It's not ultra vires.
Subject to our ability to implement the decision in 8 weeks.
Can we?
Through you, Lord
I'm
Mayor.
sorry, I just want to make sure we can get.
Through you, Lord Mayor, the first piece that's really important is an allocation in the 25-26 budget through savings, and that will be considered as part of the Q3 budget reconsideration and presented through. In regards to at least one pop-up in the north-south, that's the first time that I've actually seen that, so I'd need to sit down with the elected member and have a conversation in regards to the intent.
Sorry, I'm sorry, can you just say that again simply for me?
If I can simplify, Lord Mayor, Mr McCready's observing that the Q3 quarterly review will be presented to the City Finance and Infrastructure in May, which means subject to that recommendation being approved by Council, we've basically got 4 weeks to implement, and there could be a constructive conversation with the member between now and then, which might assist us to move swiftly once we've got a budget allocation.
So do we need to put in here Q3 adjustments? Is this clear?
Directs the administrator through, after savings, through the third quarterly financial review.
Okay, I'll accept it. I presume everyone knows what a C1, C2 route is?
I'd love to clarify. So,
anyway, sorry, carry on.
Okay, thank you. So firstly, to clarify what the C1, C2 routes are, in the adopted integrated transport strategy from last year, they are the primary routes that are designated for cycling. I also asked a question on notice at the last council meeting about how many of those C1, C2 routes have the infrastructure we've said we need. The response was the majority of them do not have that infrastructure. So this is about testing what that infrastructure might look like. And before everyone panics, I'm not suggesting we close off extensive car parking. It may not even be a full length of the C1 route. It's select routes where reasonable to test this pop-up bikeway. It is quick because it's traffic cones in the first instance. And what I was saying earlier is we have examples of that at Victoria Square, Gooja Street, and then next to the Women's and Children's. I think that lane's been closed for how long, Lord Mayor? 5 years?
6
In
years.
excess of. So just a moment more, please. Thank you. So, look, this stuff happens all over the city all the time. It's temporary. It's a trial. It really doesn't have to be bigger than Ben-Hur. But the whole point is it is a trial that we need to do now in response to the fuel crisis now. And I'm getting so many comments about, well, September 2026, what does that actually do for us? Why aren't you putting in something now? So this motion does that. I think it's pretty painless. It does give the administration flexibility to determine where those C1, C2 routes are and what they put there. Very happy to have a discussion with the administration about it. But I think this is probably what was missing from my motion 2 weeks ago, and actually make sure that something's done, which is what the community expect.
Within 8 weeks. I'm just concerned, I'm sorry, I'm just worrying about the June. You're going to have a constructive conversation.
Through you, Lord Mayor, it's actually not 8 weeks. As the CEO has indicated, the budget reconsideration for the third quarter happens in May, so effectively it's 4 weeks. So I will need to sit down with the elected member to understand now, which I will do.
So we know that we can do the third quarter, but it's whether we can actually do something on the streets, the issue. Do we have to consult the public?
We do indeed, Lord Mayor.
Okay, all right. So, Councillor Marr. We do need to consult the public, and it may be difficult to get it done in 2 months.
So, Lord Mayor, can I clarify why we would have to consult pop-up infrastructure? Do we consult about the traffic lane that's closed as part of Tasting Australia?
It's a mystery to me. We consult on everything.
I'd like to seek an undertaking to clarify the consultation requirement in that regard.
I think that it's hard to push the administration to give an undertaking to do something that they haven't done an assessment of.
Through you, Lord Mayor, we'll have the conversation, but certainly consultation is important because typically when you're talking about bike lanes, whether they're temporary or permanent, it will get into the realms of removing parking, whether it's temporary or permanent. The public need to be reminded of that.
So,
would the administration, is there
I don't think we can debate it anymore. I think we have to let Councillor Marr, and we'll let you have a closing.
I was going to reserve my right, Lord Mayor.
Noting that consultation may be required, subject to that being confirmed, is there a date that would allow for that consultation to happen? That is,
I don't think the staff can answer that immediately.
Through the presiding member, I think we need to approach this with a best intent, best endeavours consideration. We've indicated that the funding could be locked in through the May cycle of council. I think it's important that a meeting between yourself and Mr McCready occurs well before that so that we can scope what might be a pop-up bikeway intervention, get an agreed understanding of what the consultation requirements are in terms of our public consultation policy. So I think there are productive conversations that can occur between now and May, or during up to May. But let's have a conversation about a project scope that we can agree on, and we'll nail it.
So, Councillor Marr then...
Would like to reserve my right for now. Thank you, Lord Mayor. I'd like to reserve my right for now.
I've just got a question about to implement by no later than 30 June. It seems to be a little sort of heavy-handed because we don't know if that's possible. So if I'm to actually, and I don't have an issue with this, but it's got to be humanly possible to do before I'm going to actually agree to this. I mean, I agree to it, but timelines, I don't know. We should not be stipulating.
But the administration have said that they will scope the project and get back to the councillor.
But that should that be, instead of by no later than 30 June, as soon as possibly can or something?
Can I ask the CEO?
Through the presiding member, I would make the point, I've had no visibility of this motion until now.
Well, neither have I.
Okay. Now, I'm trying to deal with a camel on the run and make the best of it I can. I would suggest 2 could be amended following the words third quarterly review with the intent.
Yes, that's better.
Yeah.
If that's acceptable to the mover.
Is the mover happy with that?
I'm comfortable with that. Am I able to respond?
Can I thank the Deputy Lord Mayor for finding a way through this motion? Sorry, Councillor Freeman, I'm not going to let you speak again. We have to keep moving, otherwise we'll be here all night. So, Councillor Marr, do you wish to speak? Councillor Kouros, we just need to crack on because the time's
flying.
flying.
I understand we want to crack on, and I understand that Councillor Freeman wants to crack on, but, this is a motion without notice, and we haven't got a recommendation connected here. So, I wasn't here 2 weeks ago, which was only 2 weeks ago, which I support a trial of pop-up, but we already had a motion 2 weeks ago. How does that differ from this one? I'm a bit confused.
I think the key item, if I can just help you, is the fact that it's going to be through the third quarterly financial review, which I think the administration have agreed to look at that funding.
I'm not going to muddy it anymore, Lord Mayor. I can understand that Councillor Freeman is very eager to get this going. I'm very mindful that this time frame is really tight, knowing that this has to go to a consultation. We all know that. We are a local government, and I understand that the mover works for DIT, and I don't think DIT moves anywhere near as fast as anything like this. So, you know, there are processes and there are budget implications and there are consultations that have to be done, but I'll support this because I understand that there is with the wording, with the amendment, with the intent, happy to go along that way, but just very mindful that when councillors bring motions without notice, without actually having clarification from administration, it does impose a pressure on them and pressure on the chamber.
To say, or just speak against
10
it?
seconds just to say to those listening, those in the room, those at home, if anyone's still awake at this time.
I should think the ones at home have given up long ago.
This is a pop-up trial, a pop-up, not the Taj Mahal. It's, you know, it's 3 weeks up or whatever you have. You know, I can go out and buy the cones myself if we have to. Let's not make this bigger than Ben-Hur. I'm a big supporter of consultation for anything that has, broadly speaking, and for anything that has, you know, long-term implications. But this is literally a pop-up trial. It's nothing more than that, and I don't think people should be reading into it more than that. So sorry, Mayor, I can't hear myself. I think.
Councillor Martin. Oh, sorry. I was just.
Yes. Oh, good. So pop-up. It's in the name.
Councillor Freeman has worked exceedingly hard at getting this done. The motion that went through council previously on this exact issue, I don't think has had any immediate action undertaken. That is the prompt for this additional motion without notice to get something done now, fast, immediately. That was the point of this, the original motion. And what we're looking at here is something that gives us more of an immediate timeline. What we talked about at the last meeting was that the report was due in September. That's great. And what Councillor Freeman has pointed out, what was missing, is that report is effectively useless if we don't do the trial first, because there'll be nothing for it to report on. She's worked quite hard. She's found some money for it. She's done everything she needs to do. I don't really understand what we've got this so much back and forth about this. I think we can just get this done.
Just to sum up, yes, it is a motion without notice, and I apologise for the inconvenience of this. I mean, it is a little fitting that this has popped up, like the pop-up trial. This is just to address the gap that 2 weeks ago the motion did not stipulate an implementation date, and the community said, when are you doing this? This is addressing that concern. I looked at hundreds of comments over the weekend in response to this trial, and you know, I would love to share with everyone actually that the majority of them were positive, not negative. Not all of them. Someone did call me a stupid effing C-bomb talking about bollards, but only 2 of those things are true. So look, this is just to address the community concern about when. Thank you for the amendment, Deputy Lord Mayor, or the variation rather. I'm not trying to make the administration do anything that is unachievable. I'm trying to give the community confidence that we're actually doing something and not just looking at a report in caretaker when no decision can be made. It's as simple as that.
I don't know that I'll get a vote on this one, but I think we should be careful in not setting impossible deadlines for the staff, because this is the middle of our budget season. We have to get documents out. We have to get auditing done, and I think that they're doing a good job and they're doing the best under difficult circumstances. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on to, we've had motions without notice. We'll have questions on notice there for noting. Any other questions without note? Councillor.
Yes, Lord Mayor, I provided a question to the administration, and it is about golf course redevelopment residential impacts. I asked, with the state government taking over the North Adelaide Golf Course yesterday, April 27th, could the administration, to the extent that it's able, to provide advice to address resident concerns about streets shown in the project zones in the registered site plan as follows. 1, do the boundaries of the project zone extend to the western gutter or to the private residence boundaries? In either case, what is the nature and extent of the council's responsibility to maintain the public realm in the project zones, and what is the state government's responsibility, if any? Will direct access by family and other visitors and by providers and services of goods be permitted to residences, including using on-street parking within the project zones? Will resident access to council services such as street cleaning, leaf litter, bin and hard rubbish collection be impacted? Will the council continue to be responsible for monitoring and expiating any existing or will that now be invested in the state government? And should the project zone residents concerned about matters arising from the redevelopment raise their concerns with the City of Adelaide or to the member of for the Seat of Adelaide or some other party?
So we have a solution for this. I wonder if, Councillor, you will be prepared to move a motion without notice asking the administration to table the question and answers to your question. It's a matter of some urgency and I understand why you did it, and I have it here.
Lord Mayor, procedurally, we've moved on from motions without notice. Can we go back if we...
It's the only way to deal with the questions without notice if we want to table the answer, and it's a solution that I've found for a dilemma. If the councillor would move that motion, and I'd ask Councillor Marr to second it. All those in favour? All those against? That's carried. Here's the question and answer. Thank you. I'll remind you, members, that I'm trying to use best endeavours to get through the meeting. I'll move on to item 22, which is exclusion of the public.
Lord Mayor, can I move 22, 23, 24 on block, or do they have to be done individually?
No, we can't do that. I'd like you to move 22, which is the exclusion. Moved by Councillor Marr, seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? All those against? Thank you. The exclusion clause has been carried. We'll now move on to the specifics of 20...
No, I think we need a separate resolution.
We do.
Yes, we need a separate resolution. Sorry?
We need 3 separate resolutions.
Yes, we need to have someone move 23. Councillor Marr moved. Councillor Siebendrit seconded. All those in favour? And that's against, that's carried. Could you move 24? Moved. Seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? And against, that's carried. 25, moved by Councillor Marr, seconded by Deputy Lord Mayor. All those in favour? That's carried. Thank you, members.